I wasn't expecting this. Not tonight, not ever. The day had been ordinary, filled with work emails, traffic, the usual mundane grind. But when I got home, I felt a strange tension in the air, like the kind that precedes a storm. The smell of her perfume was different, faint but unfamiliar. She was standing by the window, phone in hand, and when I looked at her, she turned, eyes locking with mine. There was a calmness in her expression, but behind it, I could sense something heavy, almost like a loaded weapon waiting to be fired. And then she said it, clear, deliberate, with no hesitation. I'm with another man tonight. For a second, the world stopped. The words echoed in my mind, bouncing back at me, twisting every assumption I had ever made about us. My chest tightened, my hands clenched. I could feel a storm of anger, disbelief, and hurt building inside, but I didn't let it out. I had learned, over the years, that control is power. Reacting impulsively only diminishes you. So, I breathed in slowly, letting the words settle, letting my mind race in quiet chaos while my face remained calm, almost blank. I thought about all the little signs I had ignored. The sudden longer hours at work, the frequent texts she quickly hid when I entered a room, the dismissive tones when I tried to connect. I had brushed them off, telling myself, maybe I'm imagining things. Maybe I'm overreacting. But deep down, a part of me knew. And yet, hearing it aloud, spoken like a matter-of-fact statement, was a blow I hadn't fully prepared for. She watched me carefully, as if expecting some grand outburst, a plea, a question that would beg her to explain herself. But I said nothing, not a word. My silence filled the room, thick and heavy, pressing down on both of us. In that silence, she realized I was different. She expected chaos, a visible fracture. But what I gave her instead was stillness. A quiet that whispered, I see you. I understand. And I am no longer yours to control. I remembered the first nights we had spent together, the way her laughter could light up a room, the softness in her voice when she spoke my name. Back then, we were aligned, a team, sharing not just the mundane but dreams, secrets, and late-night plans that felt infinite. I hadn't noticed it then, but love is quiet in its beginnings. It's patient, forgiving, and sometimes too forgiving. I had been patient, too patient, and now the patience had reached its natural limit. She tilted her head slightly, her lips forming a faint, almost mocking smile. What are you going to do? She asked, her voice casual, almost rehearsed. A question like that usually demands theatrics, a verbal duel, tears, or accusations. But life isn't a movie. I didn't yell. I didn't threaten. I didn't chase. I simply looked back at her, letting my gaze hold hers without wavering. I'm going to let you be, I said finally. My voice was steady, measured, calm, the kind of calm that unnerves because it carries weight without force. Tonight, tomorrow, whatever you choose, it's your decision. But I am no longer going to be part of this charade. I could see it in her eyes. The anticipation of a reaction had been replaced by confusion, a flicker of vulnerability. That was all the satisfaction I needed. Not revenge, not confrontation, just acknowledgement that I recognized the truth and refused to be a pawn in her choices. In the following minutes, I collected myself. I walked to the living room, not to escape her presence, but to center my own thoughts. The house felt different now, quieter, stripped of pretenses. I thought about all the time I had invested in this relationship, the dinners cooked, the small surprises, the countless nights I had stayed awake listening to her breathe, worried, protective, committed. And for what? For moments like this. Moments where the person you trusted most chooses another path without a backward glance. I didn't call anyone. I didn't seek advice. I didn't post about it online. Because the power in this situation wasn't in sympathy. It wasn't in chaos. It was in clarity. I had clarity about what I would no longer accept. Clarity about what I deserved. Clarity about the boundaries she had willingly crossed. She lingered in the hallway, waiting, as if hoping my silence would break into something tangible, an argument, a plea, a tearful confession. But I moved with deliberate calm. I packed a small bag, nothing extravagant, just essentials. Clothes, phone charger, wallet. Items I would need to reclaim control over my night, my time, my life. And as I zipped the bag, I didn't look back. I didn't shout. I didn't explain. The sound of the zipper closing was louder than any words I could have said, punctuating the moment with precision. Before leaving, I glanced at her one last time. Not with anger, not with malice, but with acknowledgement. "Take care," I said softly, almost a whisper. Words were unnecessary, really. The act spoke louder than anything I could have conjured. I stepped out into the cool evening, feeling the weight of months, years, and unspoken grievances lift slightly with every step. Driving through empty streets, I let the engine hum beneath me, steady and constant. The city lights blurred past, a reminder that the world outside this apartment, outside this relationship, continued without pause. I allowed myself to breathe freely, to feel the crisp air fill my lungs in a way I hadn't in months. It wasn't a rush of joy. It wasn't a celebration. It was quiet relief. I thought about what I would do tomorrow, the week after. There were plans to rearrange my routines, to regain pieces of life I had put aside for someone else. The betrayal hurt, but it also clarified. It drew a sharp line between who I was willing to be and who I would never allow myself to be again. And then it hit me. Power isn't in retaliation. It's in self-possession. Power isn't in making her regret it. It's in walking away while remaining unshaken. Power isn't in shouting your anger. It's in living quietly, fully, deliberately. And that night, for the first time in a long while, I felt it. A small but undeniable pulse of self-respect. By the time I parked at a friend's apartment, the words had settled fully in my mind. No dramatics, no unnecessary confrontation. I had chosen dignity over chaos, control over impulsivity, clarity over confusion. She might have someone else tonight. She might have made her choice, but I had made mine. And in that choice, I realized something profound. I didn't need her acknowledgement, her apology, or her confession. I needed myself. And with that, I finally felt a strange sense of liberation, as if a weight I hadn't realized I carried had been lifted. Tonight, she was with another man, and I was finally with myself, unshaken, unyielding, and quietly, resolutely free.